Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. If you want to check out my collaboration with Michele Wang, reviewing the not so new but new to us Guerlain L'Essentiel foundation on both our different skin types, then please keep on watching. If it's your first time here, thank you so much for clicking. My name is Alicia and Kinky Sweat stands for my kinky hair and sweat life. I'm a fitness professional who loves beauty, and if you want to check out my movement adventures, you can head over to my Instagram. Today is in collaboration with Michele Wang. If you haven't already, check out her channel. She reviews luxury cosmetics, makeup, and skincare, and perhaps is one of the most easygoing people on the planet. In-depth reviews, really great insights on her products. I mean, I just love listening to her because I love how she presents her information, and she brings up really great points when talking about certain products and always takes in consideration her skin type and her lifestyle. So all around a great channel, amazing person. So if you haven't subscribed already, go check her out, give her a watch, and show her your support. And tell her I said hi, and leave her some kisses and hugs for me in the comments, will you? Today's collaboration is basically trying one foundation on two different skin types. Michele Wang is dry, sensitive, eczema prone. I am right now normal to oily with a lot of hyperpigmentation. Those are my skin conditions, and this foundation is said to be more on the natural finish side of things. Thank heavens I saved the box because this is like my only piece of information that I have concerning this foundation. I wonder if there's any literature in here. Oh, what's that? Nope, that's just the receipt. We purchased this in Toronto Sephora. So in Canadian dollars, this came out to 65. I will put what the US amount is, or if it's sold anywhere in the US. Some people were saying it was available in Sephora, but I don't know if it was available in a state Sephora. I'm not quite sure. I pulled out the iPad because I'm ill prepared for this video. What else is new? It's finding some product knowledge, you know what I'm saying? From Guerlain.com. Let's see what we have here. We're all after the no makeup look. Yeah, but that flawless finish without even trying. I love this description already, is hard to come by. Or so we thought. Leave it to Guerlain to perfect the formula with L'Essentiel. Please, I know I'm butchering that. Go ahead and type down the pronunciation breakdown down below. It'll be much appreciated. A breathable layer that balances and protects from pollution, all with the appearance of bare skin. Might seem like an impossible feat, but just watch as it smoothes out pores and builds a dewy complexion. That's more like it. Skin type recommendation for this foundation, they say for all skin types. Interesting. Coverage is medium. Sun protection SPF 20. Feature that it is formulated for sensitive skin, and it is paraben free. Now I'm grabbing the box to get the liters. So we got 30 milliliters or 1 fluid ounce, which is the standard amount for a lot of liquid foundations. So here on the side of the box, they say it has Tara and red algae for pollution protecting, porcelaina, cocoa bean extract to boost hydration. But where are these ingredients in the actual foundation? Because you know what it is about the top 5. The higher the ingredients are listed, that indicates their concentration. If the algae is at the bottom of the list, I'm not sure how much protection it's capable of, you know what I mean? We have water, C912 alkane, glycerin, propendiol, polyglycerol 6, silica, titanium dioxide probably is what the sun protection is. Yeah, man, the fun ingredients are not in the top 5. Don't know how much pollution protection this is going to provide. I think it's just a nice thing to put on the box. If you want pollution protection, rely on that with your serums. If you have Q10 or something that's going to actually do that, but I wouldn't rely on pollution protection from a foundation. I know they're trying to make it all sound fancy and magical, but you gotta just know the facts, okay? This says natural glow 16-hour wear. It is right now 9:53 a.m. My phone is being used as a mic, so here, let me show you my iPad. It is 9:53 a.m. I will have this foundation on all day. The weather conditions today, not super humid, which I'm kind of curious to see maybe later in the season how this foundation holds up. If you want to jump around in the video, timestamps will be down below because you know how chatty I get. I don't want to hear it. We're looking at a high of like 73 today, cloudy, and 40 48% humidity. Now, New York can be funny. Some days are low humidity and some days it's like unbearable. And based on how I've been using this foundation, I purchased this foundation like in May, I believe. I have the receipt right here. Why don't I just check the dates? May 18th. I've been using this foundation for almost a month, and I can say with how it dries down and how my skincare is set up, it definitely leans more dewy. Don't know if I would wear this on a super humid day. If that is the case, I would definitely just go to my NYX Professional Can't Stop Won't Stop, and I think I have on a day that was like really humid, because again, it fluctuates like crazy. You never know what's going to happen. I wouldn't use this on a humid day if you are normal to oily. Michele lives in Vegas, so her climate conditions are dry, hot and dry. Foundation might act a little differently in those conditions, especially if you also have her same skin type, dry, sensitive, eczema prone, so we shall see. All right, enough of that. Let's get in a little closer. That's enough. Oh God, no. Oh my God. Also, I forgot to mention on the box, it says, in the name of beauty, Guerlain Sustainable Development. Bottle is designed to promote recycling. So I guess it is glass, which indicates it being very much recyclable. So good to know. It has a 12-month suggested shelf life, and it is made in France. This is how the bottle looks like. It's very beautiful. I mean, it's like, I feel she has like a side ponytail going on in the bottle. It is glass. It is on the heavier side. I have traveled with this because I insisted on bringing it, but I did have to put it in a bubble wrap sleeve because if this broke in transit, I would be so upset. And it is very, very weighty. So I wouldn't travel with this because it's just one less thing to worry about, one less thing to make your makeup bag heavy, especially if you like to carry around a million things like I do. I will leave this at home, but if you insist on bringing it, I will pump it into something more travel friendly and overall smaller and lighter. I have the shade 45 Warm, 45W. There is a big jump to the next shade, and again, with a lot of these luxury brand foundation lines, the foundation range is not that extensive. I'm not sure if they would extend it. It'll be nice if they could, because I feel deeper skin tones will benefit from this formula. Despite it being more of a natural type of finish foundation, I do smell a little bit of fragrance, but it's not perfumey and heavy like their other makeup products, their other foundations, and even their bronzer. I can't get down with the bronzer. It's just too perfumey, and I'm like, what's in this? As of late, I've been applying my foundation with a sponge. Now, you know, I love my Wang Goss Synthetic 24S fan brush, but unfortunately, with the whole sunscreen thing and me learning more about it, when you slap on foundation on top of your sunscreen, even after it has dried down, you could dismantle the shield it forms on your skin. And even though you might not notice it, the brushing about could make it very spotty, and you'll therefore have spotty protection. So that's why I'm like, oh, fine. So we will be using the Sigma sponge, which they were so nice to send me. They actually sent me 2 more, and I've been loving it. I really like the texture of it. It was a little strange to get used to because of all the angles, but it's fine. Now, before I started applying my foundation with a sponge, I only relied on 1 pump of product for my whole face, and when you use a brush, it just absorbs less. So that's why I was able to use less. But because we're using the sponge, I'm using a pump and a half. This is the color we're dealing with, so it is like definitely on the warmer side. I like to dot it onto my face first. So I do 2 dots on the forehead, 3 on the cheeks, and the rest on the side of my nose, chin, whatever I have left on the temples. I have a lot of hyperpigmentation to cover, and unfortunately, spoiler alert, it doesn't cover them well. So what I do, once I apply this first layer, take your sponge or favorite brush, and then I pounce it in, because pouncing the foundation in will not dismantle my sunscreen protection. I've been super adamant about performing the right steps for sunscreen because the sun could make it has been proven to make hyperpigmentation appear darker, and we're not about that. So if I pounce my foundation on, it keeps the sunscreen intact. And also, the sponge leaves such a beautiful skin-like finish, so I'm not super mad about it. I'm cutting down the exposure just so you can see the color a little better. Sometimes it's hard to tell from where I'm sitting until I upload the footage. I'm like, oh, it's too dark. All right, so here is the first layer of foundation. I got you in a little closer just so you can see the finish of it. It doesn't accentuate my pores. It does feel, I would say, it does dry down to a natural to satin finish. It's not super dewy, I feel, but I haven't used dewy foundation in a very long time, so I'm not quite sure what a dewy foundation would dry down as. But I do feel it does a pretty good job, not completely covering my hyperpigmentation, but it does blur it. And you know what? I'm not so stressed about hiding it anymore. I am doing my best to make them appear lighter so my skin could look more even, but you know what? I have it and I'm just gonna have to deal with it. If I wanted more coverage on those areas, then I'll go in with a little, just a tiny bit more, because the rest of my skin and face is fine. My forehead looks great. I love the coverage there. I love the coverage in and around my nose as well as my chin. And I have to say, even though this has a slight smell to it, it's not overpowering and I don't smell it on my face all day. I do feel it is very lightweight, and I think it is true what they said about creating that no makeup look. Perhaps this is between where like a tinted moisturizer and a BB cream stands and a more fuller coverage foundation. It sits right in the middle. And if you love foundation period, but you need something a little more lightweight, a little more less intense in coverage, then maybe this is something you would consider. I just put a little more foundation on the spots that I need more coverage on. I'm gonna pounce that in, and yeah, it's not too bad. I think if you just layer on where you need it and not put on another layer all over your face, but just again where you need that extra coverage, it will still appear lightweight and not textured. You could also use a brush for more precise application, but I just decided to stick with the sponge. What I like about this formula is that because this area tends to be a little textured just because of the adapalene I am using different and AHAs on alternate nights, that it does get scabby here because the skin is peeling and the dead skin is constantly turning over. So I do have a tendency to have dry patchiness here, but I really love how the foundation lays down and it doesn't grab those spots as much as like my Too Faced multi-use concealer does. Unfortunately, I do rely on that to cover my hyperpigmentation, but sometimes if I use too much, you can see it grabbing my dead skin. But I really love the finish. It's great. I think it's smooth. I love the color. Not sure how this will stand up against my skin if it gets a little tan, but I shouldn't really tanning anyway, so let's quickly move on to concealer. I've actually been using two. My Giorgio Armani Power Fabric, if I could find it, excuse me. Giorgio Armani Power Fabric in number 6. I just put this right near the inner corners of under the eye because that's where I get the most darkness. Then I go in with the Makeup Forever Self-Setting Concealer in 34. This is more on like the greater area under my eyes. Still not too much, but just a little bit of brightness. I take the same Sigma sponge and then we're just gonna buff that in. I'm applying the concealer on camera just so you can see how it blends with the Guerlain, if you were wondering. Here is the concealer on under the eyes. Whatever leftover I have on the sponge, I just dab it on the center of my forehead, on the center of my chin, some on the center of the nose. I would say even at this point, the foundation does still feel, it's not sticky, it's just a little bouncy, which I like. But I would feel better about the whole situation if I set my foundation. If you are a drier skin type, this will probably be perfect because maybe it will dry down a little more soft matte on you. But if you're me, normal to oily, it will dry down bouncy. And again, it's going to give off that natural skin-like finish, which is what it's formulated to do. So you could very much just leave this on its own. If you do want to go in with blush or bronzer or highlight or even contour, highlight not so much because it's higher on the cheekbone, but if you want to apply anything on and around the cheekbone cheek area, you might want to set it, because I'm not sure how the bronzer powders will apply, if they'll apply smoothly or patchy, because I've been setting. Taking my Beautylish in Hakuhoro Holiday 2018 small tapered brush with my Hourglass translucent veil and just gently patting that down under the eye. Again, still bouncy in texture, but we will go in with the Milk Makeup Matte and Blur Loose Powder. This doesn't have talc on it, so even though it says Matte and Blur or Matte and Set, I forgot the official name. Where is this? Doesn't even have it on. Oh, Blur and Set. Blur and Set. There's nothing mad about this. Sorry I put that in the title. It has avocado extract and hyaluronic acid, I believe, so it is said to be very moisturizing, and that's why I kind of want to stay within the realm of moisture dew and not slap on a very heavy powder on this foundation. It's one of those very lightweight powders that's airy once you open the lid. Taking my reference number 6, or it is also called the number 11 on the campaign, I'm just gonna pat that down. You could even press and roll just to get a little bit of set on this skin. And I feel that doesn't disturb the finish of the foundation either. It still looks lightweight, it still looks smooth, but it just cuts down that bouncy feel if you don't want that left on your skin. It also brings down the shine a little bit, which I'm not mad about a soft matte finish. I'm all about it. I know this is all about the foundation, but if you just wanted to quickly see the Chloe and Malika Becca palette in action, because I bought this when it was on sale, I'm so happy I held off and just waited, because $26.50 is not bad. I will film a video dedicated to the recent face palette and bronzers that have released and do comparison swatches and comparison demos. So this is just a quick little, show and tell. Reference number 5 with the bronzer shade. I'm gonna pat that down. It is like a warmer bronzer on me, but the finish is really nice. These powders are like very skin-like and buildable as well. This is the Malika palette, the one that's deeper out of the two. Not bad, like that a lot. I want to go in now with the coral type of blush here, because you have the coral type and then you have more of a pinky hue. Same brush, just patting that on the cheeks. It does have a little bit of shine to it, and I like how you can layer these powders and it won't look heavy, so you have control over the intensity. Taking the highlighter shade, and now just on the cheekbone. That's really pretty. I actually really like this highlighter. Very soft, not overwhelming. All right, so this is how my Complexion products look on the foundation, and it's no surprise. I've been using this foundation, like I said, for almost a month, and I've been loving how my powder products have been laying down on the texture of the foundation. It just leaves my skin looking like skin, very natural in finish, very soft. And I will do check-ins throughout the day. My apologies for not mentioning that earlier on in the video. And again, timestamps will be down below, so you can skip over to that part quickly if you want to. Keep in mind though, my check-ins are going to be out and about, because I'm not coming back home tonight. I will be in Equinox and in my boyfriend's apartment, so I'll try my best to make it happen and filming conditions and lighting that's going to be helpful in us evaluating the wear time of this foundation. I'll be right back, gonna apply these eyebrows and do the eyes, and see you here. Face is done. Of course, I had to slap on Sunrise again by Natasha Denona, because I've been using her palette non-stop. I also buffed with some of my Hourglass veil, translucent veil powder, with my little Beautylish Tuckahoe brush just around the areas to make sure they look smooth. You want to come a little closer? You want to see what's up? Here it is up close. I really love this foundation. I have been ever since I've used it for the first time. I love how it dries down. I love how it feels on the skin. This is not to say you have to go and get it, right? If you had your eye on it, if it was on your radar, you were wondering about it, if you have a similar skin type to me or to Michele, if you're at the other end of that spectrum, then this is just to kind of guide your decision if you think it's worth the $50 or however much it costs. Now, if you have already perfect skin, then I think this is great if you just want to even out your skin tone and just have a nice, even natural finish looking canvas. If you are looking for high coverage, this is not your foundation. Keep in mind, it is a medium coverage. You can build it to be maybe medium, somewhat full, like I did here, but you can still see my hyperpigmentation. If I stood over here, maybe not. But again, I feel like it's blurring. It kind of softens it and doesn't make it look as harsh and as potent if I didn't have any foundation on at all. Potent is like not the right word to use. Potent, super dark, aggressive, I don't know. Vocabulary just left me right now. I just love how my skin feels. It just feels velvet soft with the powder on the foundation for setting. And I felt all my other complexion products melted beautifully into my skin. Nothing looks textured, nothing looks cakey. It doesn't look overly done. I lightened you up a little bit just so you can see maybe more of the highlighted portions of my face. Again, I'm going to check back in with you later just for another time check. Right now, we're looking at 10:45. That is the official AM time of this video. I would like to check in around 7 p.m. because I'll be at Lululemon teaching my class, and I think at that time, thank goodness, it's so great to do check-ins during the summertime because the sun's out for later. I don't know if I'll be able to record before then. Maybe I'll be able to if I at my client's apartment, but I think that'll be weird. I'll probably do the first check-in at Equinox before my 4 o'clock class because again, the lighting is really great too, just to see how it looks, and that will be around the 3:30 mark, and then I'll check back in around the 7 p.m. mark. So stay tuned for those check-ins, and I'll round up with my final thoughts at the end of the video. Hello friends, it is now, what time is it? Oh wait, let me get my phone. I'm not very good at this. It is now 5:38, so we applied this foundation around 10:45 a.m. and what is that? Not too bad. We could also get a checkup on this Natasha Denona Sunrise eyeshadow, yeah? I'm sorry it's so loud. We are in the West Village, New York City. Loud in the streets. Let's check out this texture though. Are we seeing? How are we feeling about it? It's very light here. I'm actually in a good spot of light, but I just want you to get in close so you can check in how the foundation is wearing. I do have some wear on my nose, of course that's inevitable. I did wear sunglasses today, and unfortunately the nose pads just kind of took off some of my concealer there. But I really love how this is looking. I feel like it stays intact, although you can still see my hyperpigmentation. If it wasn't for this fresh one here, I would think it's kind of blurred, don't you think? And again, like I mentioned earlier in the video, I don't mind if it's not covered all the way. It's like fine, and I just got the email, just saw the post for Mama Pat's foundation. I'm gonna be on a boot camp skin regimen, no picking, because I want my skin to be ready for July 26th, okay? But no, we're talking about the Guerlain. I'm sorry. But this is no surprise to me. I've been really loving the wear of this foundation. I appreciate that it's lightweight, but it doesn't break down quickly, and my skin feels pretty good. I did teach class, and I did work out a little bit, but I don't sweat in my face a lot, and I know that's strange. I sweat everywhere else, though. I think because I mentally try to tell my sweat to just stay out of my face. If I ever do sweat, I just pat down here, because that's where I begin to sweat anyway, not so much in the center of my face. But it's really nice outside. It's cool, it's not hot, it's not humid, so I think this is like ideal climate conditions for this foundation. Again, don't think I would wear it on a very humid day here at NYC. Love how the eyeshadow's looking though, so eyeshadow we're looking at 5 hours, 6 hours as well, so not too bad. I'm gonna have some dinner, head over to Lululemon, and then check back again. Maybe after, maybe the sun will still be out around 8:30. Who knows? If not, I'll check in right before 7:30 or closer to 7, show you the time, and I'll see you then. Testing, 1, 2, 3. Why am I so yellow? I don't like that. Oh. I just finished teaching at the Lululemon store. It is now 8:37. Gonna flip up the proof rod here. There you go. We're looking at not exactly 12 hours, but almost there. I understand the foundation says 16-hour wear, but it's rare that I look for 16-hour wear or I wear my foundation for that long. Not because I want to, that's just how the day rolls sometimes, you know what I'm saying? But here's some close-ups of how the skin looks. I'm really sorry I'm looking yellow, but this is kind of like the best lighting situation available to me at the moment. Here's one side, house, this side looking. So you see that there is some texture here, and my hyperpigmentation is definitely showing through. By the end of the day, I forgot to mention before I left the house, I did apply some of my Cover FX Warm Honey on the cheeks because I felt that the blush from the Chloe and Malika palette were a little too light and I want a little more saturation on my cheeks, so I dabbed that on, and I feel the foundation holds on to blush and bronzer and highlighter pretty well. Like there's a nice sheen still on my cheekbones. How's the Natasha Denona? Listen, I feel like the Natasha Denona Sunrise palette shadows are looking good. What do you think? Let me close my eyes. Can you see? I know this is a foundation check-in, but I might as well just mention the Sunrise eyeshadows too. But yeah, friends, I'm going to check out now. I'm on my way home. It is done. The day is done. Like I said, I've been loving this foundation. I will do another update. Maybe I'll ask Michele if she'll do the same thing later on in the summer season, how this foundation reacts to humid weather, because today it was not humid. It is my ideal temperature, high of 70, cool in the evening and the morning, like that nice breeze available to you. So I didn't feel like my face was melting off. Again, I would check in when it does get hotter, and if I wanted to see how this foundation fares against those types of weather conditions, I'll be sure to check in. But here is another look. Again, I am so sorry that I'm yellow schmellow, but just so you can kind of see the texture of my skin, kind of evaluate for yourself what this foundation might do for you if you also have 8-hour days and whatnot. I look crazily orange, so unfortunately, I believe because this foundation does have a strong warm tone, is coming through, especially with this yellow type of light. So don't be scared, I'm sorry. I love the finish. In real life, I wouldn't look like this. I think the lighting is definitely influencing how I look on camera, leaning more toward orange, but I'm okay with it. Oh look, hey, I'm back there. Hi, Alicia. So thank you so much for stopping by again, and that, my friends, is a wrap. Thank you all so much for watching. I hope this video helped. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And until then, I'll see you on here again with another demo review or wear test. Take care, and I'll see you again soon.